Question 14a. Factorise x squared plus 7x. The word factorise means to take out common elements and try and simplify it. So if we look at x squared and 7x, the common element here is x. So if we take x out and put brackets but into the expression, what do we multiply x by to get x squared? Well, that's x again, because x times x is x squared. What do we multiply x by to get plus 7x? Well, that's just going to be plus 7. Part B, factorise y squared, take away 10y plus 16. This is called a quadratic because we've got a squared term. It's exactly the same thing, but as soon as you see a quadratic, you should know that we have two sets of brackets. Y squared, so we must have y in each bracket. And now we're looking for two numbers that multiply together to give us this plus 16, but add together to give us minus 10y. Now you can do this through trial and error, and you might be able to see it straight off the bat. So if I think of two numbers that multiply to give me 16, I've got 1 and 16, 2 and 8, or 4 and 4. Well, 4 and 4 definitely not. 1 and 16 can't be, so we've got 8 and 8. 8 and 2, here we go. Because 8 times 2 is 16. Now if they were both positive, that would give us 16. If one of them was negative, it would give us a negative answer here. But because we've got a negative value when they're added, they both have to be negative. Part C, there's a little star next to it, so we're going to have to be able to explain our answer. Factorise 2t squared plus 5t plus 2. So again, because we've got this quadratic, we are going to have two sets of brackets. Because it's 2t squared, I'm going to assume that 2t is in one of these brackets and t in the other one. Now that gives us a 2t squared. Now if we look for two numbers that multiply to give us 2, well, that's got to be 1 and 2 because 2 is a prime number. To get that 5t, it means we're going to have two lots of the 2t, which means 2 goes in this bracket and 1 over here. Again, just keep trying and erroring until you manage to find the right combination. But part 2 of question C says t is a positive whole number. So these are all positive numbers and they're all whole integers. The expression 2t squared plus 5t plus 2 can never have a value that is a prime number. Explain why. Okay, now we've already factorised this question, so now we've got to use this answer to be able to explain why we can't have a prime number. Well, if we've got a positive whole number, something add 2, well, let's say it was 0, add 2, that's 2, that's a prime number. 1, add 2, and that's 3, that's a prime number, but 2 add 2 would be 4. So that would give a positive factor of whatever our solution would be, and therefore that creates additional factors. It creates two different factors, and therefore it cannot be a prime number. So explaining that is basically just due to the fact that prime numbers only have themselves and 1 as factors. But 2t plus 1 and t plus 2 will make two different numbers, so cannot make it prime. You have to talk about the fact that prime numbers have no factors, and by being able to factorize this, you create a different number that isn't prime. You can give examples by saying, I'm just going to add this at the bottom, e.g. if t equals 3. 2t plus 1 is 7 multiplied by 5. So while these are both prime numbers, the product is not. So therefore, because it has extra factors, it cannot be a prime number. In your own words, describe that as best you can.